controversy to another. Let's get into this Kenya Moore hair care story. So apparently it wasn't the hair care that was the problem. It was the fact that it happened down at the salon. So the other day we did talk a bit about Cynthia Bailey weighing in on Kenya Moore and how she felt like they hadn't spoken since the Kenya Moore hair salon launch, because she did open she opened up her own hair care spot. And Cynthia weighed in and was like that she held Kenya to a higher standard because that's her friend, and she felt like that wasn't the time or the place to do what she did. And of course, this was out. We did this on Sunday, so it was before the episode dropped. So now the episode is dropped, meaning they shared at the end, which is typical of Bravo. I knew they was going to say that all the way until like the last 5 minutes. So yeah, it was a whole spectacle. I wish I could show y'all the clips, but NBC Universal, y'all know how they get. I'm sure if y'all Google Schmoogle, you go all over the social medias, you'll be able to see it. So yeah. So Kenya spoke out following the explosive episode and showed her public display of explicit images of Britt Eady, who was on the show. Now, what had happened was how the whole thing played out, because I was like, a bunch of people weighed in. Andy Cohen had his co-host over there at Radio. Andy weighed in. I got the receipts on that, and Kenya's response, we'll get into. Dr. Heavenly from Married to Medicine and a fellow Bravo celebrity decided to weigh in and give her 2 cents. And, so it's like everybody's been kind of going in and letting have and giving their opinions. And I'm going to give y'all mine after we play all these clips. So what happened was, leading up to all the drama, there was some type of event that they had went to, and Britt, I think quite a few times, was all of her feelings about how Kenya was coming at her, and even at times threatened Kenya with a pistol. Now, if somebody gonna sit up in here and threaten me with a pistol, and your ugly ass husband over there just mean mugging the whole time, it's gonna be a problem. And I'm gonna get legal involved. I'm like, I want to see, I'm not a cease and desist. I want a restraining order, making it difficult for this broad to film with me. And then I'm going to purposely make myself be around all the other girls so that way your ass don't be getting to get in the room. So I will ruin you. What Kenya did in the situation when they all came in and was celebrating her in this opening, and then she pulls out these cardboard, large, blown up cutouts. And child, I do got, because, I like to come with receipts and things. So in regards to that whole situation, so yeah, she pulls out these cardboards, right? And was talking about how like Brittany has gotten in some fraud stuff. Then pulled out pictures of her giving a baloney wash. I was like, girl, how you pulling all this stuff out? Like, it was a whole slideshow via cardboards that she was holding up. Like the girl that was holding up the numbers between boxing matches. Like, it was literally that type of situation. Everybody was appalled and disgusted, to the point that people was leaving. Britt apparently wasn't in there. She came in with her friend, dropped on some flowers with a card, and then left. Because I think one that people were saying was that Kenya was a little wasted. And number 2, she ain't see it for Britt. And so, because of what happened with Cynthia, and Cynthia giving her comments, Kenya Moore retweeted a previous interview in which Nene Leakes slammed Bailey for being what she described as a bad friend. And that was, of course, because of what Cynthia said about about Kenya. So then also on Twitter, she retweeted a previous interview of Leakes speaking with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live about her strained relationship with Cynthia, saying, when you have a friend and they do something wrong or something you don't like, I don't think you align yourself with the enemy. I think that you stick with your friend and you say, look, we were friends. I liked you. You did this and I did not like that. But at the end of the day, you're not going to align yourself with the enemy. Well, here's the thing. My thing is this. Yeah, we friends. And if you do wrong, I don't pull you to the side and be like, nah, sis, that was just wrong on your end. Now, I'm not going to go and align myself, but, well, Brett, let me, whoa. Like, I'm not doing all that because I don't know this broad. And this is not, and I think, and maybe in this context, is that they're saying Cynthia is wishy-washy and a flip-flopper, and she likes to go where the money resides or where she thinks it's going to reside, which I don't think is going to reside long, because no shade, based over what I've seen so far on Atlanta Housewives, just the clips and stuff, Britt is not that interesting. The only thing, like her botched nose job, just is a distraction. Yeah, you may have all this money and you may be, but I feel like she another stunt queen. It won't be a matter. I would not be surprised if only a matter of time she'll be accused of a federal damn white collar crime alongside her husband. So I would not be surprised if she ends up caught up in a Jen Shaw, Teresa Giudice type situation, because a lot of you broads over there get wrapped up in those situations. And it's no shade. It's just I feel like where the tea leaves is gonna fall. So me, if I'm real cool friends with somebody that's on the show, I'm gonna pull you something like not Kenya. You know you was dead wrong for that. And I do think that Kenya was wrong for how she did what she did. And not only that, but using her own event as an opportunity to embarrass a fellow coworker or co-star, whatever the hell you want to call him, castmate. So I do feel like that was wrong on her part. That wasn't the time nor the place. Because first of all, I don't want to see nobody slobbing nobody knob. And I gotta look, and I'm in a room full of people. Now, if you want to show me something on a phone, be like, hey girl, look. Now I don't mind a peen pick if you're gonna pull me to the side. But not when you try to make it a whole display like it's a wig reveal or something on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like I'm not saying you need to go there with that. So I'm all for calling my friends out, but I'm not gonna sit up in here and try to act and be blinded by it, like just blindly go and agree with you on situations. Like I said, I'm gonna pull you to the side and be like, sis, you was wrong. So yeah, in episode 4, which aired on March 30th, 2025, viewers saw what led to Moore and Edie's problems on set. Now, after a tense interaction at lunch in which Moore referred to Edie as a peasant, Chagona is, the latter seemingly threatened the former Miss USA with gun violence. Now, while speaking with other cast members and her husband, Edie could be heard referencing her pistol and whips, saying, this is real life. I don't play them type of games. You gonna be respectful. You gonna be respectful around here. And if you don't know, you gonna learn today. Today is the day you gonna learn. And sis, you need to also realize this is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is not Bad Girls Club. This is not one of them old tight ass shows over on the Zeus network. You don't have to do no quid pro quo for Lemmy, allegedly, because I'm sure y'all probably heard them stories about Lemmy with a couple of them girls that was over there at the Zeus network is calling him out on some allegations. Just say the Google Schmoogle is out there. But in that situation, I'm just sitting there like, yeah, you seem to forget what show you want. And this is why I always laugh because Andy Cohen try to thumb his nose over there at them other shows, the Love and Hip Hops and all that other stuff. We not those type of shows. Well, you could have fooled me because it seemed like a lot of these young girls that's coming up on here, they watched a lot of these shows. They grew up watching a lot of these shows because a lot of the girls that's on the Housewives now are relatively younger than the Nenes and the Kims and the Sherrays and the Cynthias and the Kenyas. They're in their what, late 30s, early 40s, early to mid 40s, I would say. So they coming at it from a different angle. And they thinking now we gotta act like we on an episode of Baddies. Because everybody, like I said, if you're gonna threaten me with violence, and Kenya said that she went to production about it. They didn't do nothing. So I feel like they was both wrong. One, Miss Mama was wrong, as in Britt was wrong with the threatening, because you ain't threatening me no damn weapon. I didn't also like the fact that Kinga decided to weaponize her own child in this situation. Well, this is for my daughter and blah, blah, blah. It's like, don't weaponize your daughter in this situation because she did that on Tamron Hall too when she sat and talked about it. Don't use Brooklyn as a reason to why you did what you did because it was, my daughter's life was at stake in my life. I was like, she didn't threaten your child. She threatened you. So I don't like the fact that you try to weaponize your child to justify your actions. And I also find it quite hypocritical that a lot of these people on the white people shows, particularly the Housewives of New Jersey, where there have been many situations of physical violence. Joe Gorga and Juicy Joe had that fist fight where we found out that Joe Gorga was using like hairspray to cover up his bald spot, as in the black stuff, and it got all over Joe Judice's arm and stuff, which hence why he cut all the hair off and started to bulk up because he was using the spray stuff. Then you had, what was it, the two girls from last season when Jen Aiden got knocked upside the head by Danielle. That's physical violence. Yeah, they got suspended, but they were allowed to come back. Teresa Giudice, she flipped the table. She also pushed Andy in the chair during the reunion. That was what, season 2? So how is it that white people get to sit up in here and do all this crazy stuff, but then when the black folks come, they get reprimanded way worse? That's another thing too. So I'm noticing the racial undertones that goes into the Housewives of Atlanta as well. But before I finish, do want to play y'all this clip of Dr. Heavenly weighing in on the situation because she said something that made a whole lot of damn sense. She was sitting there saying, "Now, why is it?" I was like, "Wait a minute, please don't tell me I don't have it." She was like, why if it was so bad as y'all claim, why did y'all pretty much not get rid of? I mean, why did you keep it in the show, basically? So I do have that clip. Shout out to the neighborhood talk. And we'll play that and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
But then don't listen to me because I can see shit that Kenya did wrong. So don't listen to me because I'm the wrong bitch to listen to. So because I still to this day that was iconic, but I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Don't quote me on that one. Don't at me. Okay? But I just felt like I be feeling like if it was so wrong, don't show it. That's my thought. But anyway, who am I? Who am I? You know what I'm saying? But then don't listen to me.
See? And she was like, yeah, if it was so bad as y'all claim, then why did you show it? Because, and it's no shade, I truly feel in my heart of hearts, and I said this, even when we found out about the drama that went down, this was like, almost a year ago when they filmed this, I said that I definitely feel in my heart of hearts, this is the only juicy thing that y'all have going on this season, because a lot of these girls that's on here, y'all are giving friend of and not giving star quality. I don't see none of you girls standing out like y'all could be a Nene or a Kim or a Sheree or even a Kenya. I don't see it. I don't see it from Portia. I don't see it from Shamia. Y'all giving friend of teas. And I do not feel like even if you brought back Phaedra, which y'all are, and I don't know what episode she about to jump in, but it feels like it was a Hail Mary. It was like an act of desperation. And I do like Phaedra. She is good TV, but she is not going to be enough to hold down this show. She is not a lead. She is not lead peach material. I do not feel like she's going to be enough. And so who knows? Maybe this will be the final season. And also, I think I just felt like in my heart of hearts, Kenya, if you didn't do what you did, just let the universe take care of what it needs to take care of. Britt would have been a one and done girl. I do not see her making it past season 2. She just doesn't give. She doesn't give anything worth watching on here. So she's not the only one that has something to say. Apparently, Andy decided to weigh in too. And he broke down the drama between Kenya and Britt. I do want to give a shout out to the Bravo Shade Room. What is that? They got a shade room too. I don't know if it's the same thing as the Shade Room, but it's the Bravo Shade Room. So apparently they had the clip from Andy Cohen live. We're gonna play it. Y'all gonna hear what he got to say, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
What happened is that Britt made a comment at the end of last week's episode, like, I have a gun and a whip or something like that.
I saw that.
And on this week's episode, they all said to Britt that you can't say that shit. And she was like, yeah, you're right. Whatever. She shows up to Kenya's opening of her gorgeous salon, which is beautiful, that Kenya has worked so hard on, that she dedicated to her daughter. And it's this big event, opening it with all these people there. And Britt comes in and brings her flowers and says, I want to apologize to you, and a note. And Kenya totally ignores her, like totally. And Britt's like, okay, I'm just going to leave these here. And Britt leaves.
Because we can't forget the note. Sidebar, before we get to the rest of this clip, Andy, why are you talking like that? She had brought her a note, and guess what? And then she came in the room, and then she went and put everything down on the table, and then he walked away, and then Kenya went and was like, throw out the flowers and everything. Like, why are you talking like Kim Kardashian? What is that? A lot of y'all white people, why do y'all talk like with this horrible fucking vocal fry? Sir, you are from Michigan. Why are you talking like that? Anyway, let me go back to the clip. I don't know. I just had to say that because the way he was talking is grinding my gears. But anyway, let's get back to it. I'm going to end my rant. Let's go back.
And then Kenya gets up and makes her whole opening about someone came after me and they shouldn't have. And I started looking into who this woman is, and this is who she is. And she starts showing pictures of her.
Or like poster board that she printed
out. And this is like
one of the pictures is
revenge
her.
porn type.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the pictures is her.
Like, oral sexing.
Yeah. And the Atlanta housewives are like, we're out. We don't want any. The place like clears out.
Yeah.
And then there's and Cynthia said, in all my time at the show, this is the lowest I've ever seen anything get. And so that's what, and then there's a slide at the end of the show that says, Bravo, stop filming with Kenya after this.
Well, they say, like, there's all this talk of, after the Me Too movement, it's like if you show someone a dick pic or a nude pic without them saying, yes, I would like to see that right now, that's like sexual assault.
Yes, Jordan?
Well, I was going to say, the bad part of it and the sad part of it was that, like you said, it was Kenya's opening of her store that she's worked so hard for, and that it's been Kenya Moore hair care for years. Yes. And it was like a big moment for her.
Why
and
did
like
she do that?
She should have been celebrating herself, but instead she used the time to like do revenge porn and bring somebody else down. And at the end of the day, it was such a bad look for Kenya.
Yeah, why would
and
she do that?
sabotaged herself and her business.
Yeah. What was she thinking?
Jody from Minneapolis, what did you think?
Yay, hi. Also, I'm just so proud of Bravo and how they handled it, and all the housewives that left after Kenya showed it. It was so trashy, and it was so negative and ugly. And I don't know, I think a few years ago, not all the wives would have left after that, but I'm really proud that they all left. And, Britt making that comment about the guns and the whips, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was totally like, I'm going to go kill you, Kenya. I think it was just her talking smack, and oh my gosh, Kenya.
Okay, y'all sound so damn stupid with that. Now, I will take over Kenya in that part, because I don't think it was really that serious. Yeah, okay, let somebody threaten your ass with a pistol and see if you Karens, because I'm sure that was a white woman that was on that call, would be running to the police and saying, so-and-so threatened to pow me. I need a police reading order. Like, we know how y'all Karens get out here and act when it come down to anybody trying to threaten your ass, whether it's a light threat or a DEFCON 5 threat. So let's not sit up here and try to pretend because it ain't happening to you that you wouldn't react the way that you reacted. As I said before, I do not agree with what Kenya did. What she did was ridiculous. She should not have taken her moment where she should be celebrating an accomplishment, an achievement that she has with her salon, and using it as a way to embarrass one of her fellow co-workers over on a TV show. There's a time and a place for that. But I feel like Kenya has been propped up by the show to always want to create these moments. And I think that's what y'all focus too much on in this show, too. Y'all want a grandiose moment because y'all know quiet as it's kept for the past couple of seasons. Real Housewives of Atlanta, which has been one of the top shows on Bravo, is just not what it used to be. Nobody cares about this show as much anymore. It is not on the radar. It is not in the pop culture zeitgeist. Also, we talked about how the ratings are falling into the toilet. So the show is not giving us what we used to like about the show. So I feel like that's another reason, another factor that's going into the situation. But some of the people jumped in the comments and said Britt should have gotten fired the second she mentioned a pistol on a professional set. Another person said, I agree, they should have never aired it. Another person says she's right, though. How you going to punish someone for something that you're going to intentionally profit off of? And yeah, that's true, because it's like, yeah, y'all know I've been quiet as it's kept, because I said from the beginning, I said they should air the stuff so that way we have an idea of what had happened, so we know the reason behind her firation. But because if y'all remove it, then it's like, how y'all gonna cut around Kenya? Y'all gonna act like she didn't exist? So y'all have to show us everything. But after this, it'll go to see, like some people said, this day season finale. After now that they know what happened, they ain't watching no more. So we was all Team Kenya until she did what she did. Another person, because that just wasn't the time and the place. Now I will say that was good TV, but the way it all played out was like, But on the other flip side, it's like, no, that was inappropriate. That wasn't the time and the place for that. Another person said they removed her from showing inappropriate things, but replaced her with Phaedra, who accused Candy and Todd of, and y'all already know, remember, she went and said Candy and Todd was out there trying to get R-word Portia and do her in their sex dungeon. That's what Phaedra said. And they bring her ass back to the show. Another person said Kenya was wrong and went out sad. It was embarrassing to watch an OG go out like that. And child, they was going in on Dr. Heavenly too, saying that they don't understand how she up in here talking when she one of the nastiest spirits on reality TV. So of course she ain't gonna see nothing wrong. But Dr. Heavenly gets into this space where she feel like she can speak on a lot of stuff that's going on, because she another one that's messy over there, married to medicine. But before we wrap this up, I do want to point out that Kenya did it's a lot of damn K's on this show. Kenya did clap back and said the following. She said the two co-hosts, in air quotes, are extremely ignorant. SA is R word. Remember, that's what Phaedra accused Candy of attempting to do to Portia. RP, if someone showed Kim K's sex tape to you, is that RP? I found that plus tons others online. She signed a release for it, so it's fair. Receipt. Warning, if you are not an attorney and familiar with Georgia law, then STFU. I'm sure you know what that means. Sick of the bias and selective outrage. These comments should not have aired. It's a podcast. Where is legal? You don't want activated, Kenya. I shouldn't have shown at my event, but for the love of God, why would they ignore a clear gun threat? Which is what she's saying, like, they're hypocritical over there at the show. But you know me. So I had to put my little attorney hat on. Like, I'm feeling a little Sunny Hostin today, which we're about to get into her after this story. Well, a couple of stories from now. And look, you know, I had to Google schmoogle what is non-consensual pornography, which is another word for RP. So non-consensual pornography is when a sexually graphic image of you is shared without your consent. It's also commonly called RP. These images can include images taken during the course of an intimate relationship, including images you took of yourself and shared it with the intent to keep them private. Hidden recordings, images stolen from electronic devices, meaning phones, computers, and tablets, etc. Recordings of essays, etc. Well, that's what Austin Wolf in jail for. Recording essays, but that's of minors. And I'm not talking about the ones that be digging for, you know, that be working for Elon Musk's daddy in the mines, where they be digging up diamonds and things. So they said this person could also be violating civil laws related to invasion of privacy, economic harm, etc. That's basically what they're saying, like, is it illegal? Now let's get to what if the punishment. They said in the criminal case, the first time someone is convicted of non-consensual pornography, it is considered a gross misdemeanor. If the person does it again, it will be a felony charge, punishable up to 5 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. In some situations, the person can also be charged with voyeurism in the first degree, which is also a felony. If you are under 18, depending on the circumstances, the perpetrator may also be charged with crimes related to child pornography. In a case, a civil one at that, examples include claims of emotional distress, invasion of privacy, recovery of economic damages, lost earnings, and attorney fees. The perpetrator could be ordered to pay for the emotional economic damages. How much money that is will depend on the facts of your case, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So that's just a little bit of non-consensual pornography, meaning which is a fancier word for RP, revenge porn, for those who don't know. But yeah, but I feel like, you know what, that at the end of the day, to wrap this up, I feel like what Kenya did, yeah, she was wrong. Britt was wrong. I feel like Bravo panicked because of all the lawsuits that they've been getting as of late. You know, they had the Nene assault. I mean, the Nene lawsuit, not assault, the Nene lawsuit. We got one from Leah McSweeney from the Housewives of New York. There's been a lot of accusations of things going on behind the scenes. And guess what? This is you thinking that this Kenyan mess is you got to worry about. Next week on the ID channel, they got one about Bravo and all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes over there at that network. They got one of those expose. Investigation Discovery episode. They did one on the Power Rangers that just aired. They did one on Stephen Collins from Seventh Heaven. They did one on like Troubled Child Stars, and now they got one coming out next week about Bravo and all the stuff with them. So, Andy, you in danger, girl. And all you people over there at Bravo with all the mess. So I know y'all were probably just reacted because of all the stuff that was going on. So yeah, they gave Kenya the bulk of the punishment. But, and another thing I don't understand, with y'all over there at Bravo, all them years you've been putting into the show, Kenya, you've been there for what, 10 seasons? Why haven't you managed to parlay this Real Housewives of Atlanta gig beyond that show? Because that seemed like that was your only source of income. Y'all should not just be relying on one source of income. And I know I would love to see her on The Traitors. I don't think she's going to be on The Traitors. But I would like to see her do some other shows. Like I would like to see her do the Traitors of Celebrity Big Brother. But I did hear that there's some work. I think Jessie Wu was out there spilling tea about the whole situation. So definitely check her out. And then there's rumors circulating that Nene Leakes may be on the 4th season of the Traitors. So that would be good, especially since she's in the good graces of the NBC Universal now. So there's that. I would like to see Kenya be on there, but I feel like that because of all of this stuff that's coming out now and how she kind of went in on the show and dragging Andy and all of them. Oh, they tell him. Well, she didn't tell him the STFU. She was talking about because he was being very neutral Nancy about his opinion. That's because he was like, "What do you think? What do you think?" He didn't really give his opinion. I know, right? I know that. Like, what is that voice? But anyway, I say all this to say because it was like, yeah, this. I feel like I've said all I need to say. I'm trying to make sure I checked all the boxes before I moved on. So I want to hear from you all. What did you think? Did you see the episode or the clip? Because I wasn't watching The Housewives of Atlanta. I'll just be watching the clips of that drama between her and Kenya, Britt and Kenya. I watched the clip the other day because a friend of mine, Joshua Martin, posted it on his Facebook. So I was watching the whole scene. He recorded the whole thing and put it up there. And I was up there watching it and gagging. I was like, damn, Kenya, why you had to go out like that? I mean, it was good TV, but sis, you just messed up your good coin. Now, I do hope, I need y'all to fan out for me too. For those of you who are in the ATL, how is her salon or something of that nature doing? You know what? Speaking of which, you know what would have been smart? If she could have pulled the Candy Burris. If, the whole salon thing was doing what needed to be done, like how Candy had Old Lady Gang, why didn't you, like, you could have sold a show to the network to be like, you know what? It could be like Beauty Shop. Remember that movie with Queen Latifah and Keke Palmer? When you could have did a movie similar to, or not a movie, a reality series similar to that, or like Black Ink, like something like that. You have a bunch of people working in your salon and the drama that ensues. That would have been a cute show. I would have loved to have seen that. But it looked like we ain't never going to get it. So I want to hear from you all and your thoughts on this story. So let me know what you think of this drama surrounding Miss Kenya Moore, hair care, in the comments down below.